Welcome back to On the Ascent Health. Last week, Gwen Swanson challenged us to rethink why we move, to exercise because it makes us feel strong, capable, sexy, and confident, not because we have to earn our food or change our bodies. This week, we're building on that conversation by diving into the how. I'm joined by strength and conditioning specialist Alysa Horn, owner of Sweat Lab, to answer some of the biggest questions women have about lifting weights. Will lifting weights make me bulky? How heavy is heavy enough? Do I really need high intensity workouts? And how do I exercise in a way that's safe, sustainable, and actually prepares me for life? If you've been curious about strength training but haven't known where to start, this episode is for you. Here's my conversation with Alysa Horn. Welcome to On the Ascent Health. I am here today with Alysa Horn of the Sweat Lab and Make Yourself. Welcome.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So can you tell everybody a little about you, what you do, what your businesses are?
Yeah, I'm a strength and conditioning specialist and also a basketball player development coach. And I have a gym in Anchorage called the Sweat Lab for strength and conditioning for adults and teens.
Cool. Okay. So we're talking about strength and conditioning. Why do women need exercise? Why do we need strength and conditioning?
The same thing or the same reasons that every human body does. And that's to maintain our joint health, muscle health, overall health, mental health, all of these things that are really influential in longevity and quality of life.
And why specifically like strengthening, and do you use weights, resistance bands? What would you recommend and why?
All of the above. I mean,
Okay.
there's different classifications, and I actually had to kind of dissect that a couple weeks ago for a blog.
Okay. Tell me.
Resistance training is
Yes.
you're using any resistance. So that could be bands, it could be your own body weight, it could be your baby, it could
Yeah.
be,
Machines,
yeah, it could be
right?
milk jugs,
Okay.
anything. Weight training is more specifically dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells. And then we have powerlifting and Olympic lifting, which are actually sports. So powerlifting is squats, bench press, and deadlift. And
Yeah.
Olympic lifting is the clean and jerk and the snatch. And
Okay.
so those are movements that we can do in the gym, but they're also competitive sports
Okay.
sanctioned by the US, and athletes compete in the Olympic Games and other competitions for those things. So there's just those specific designations that I just wanted to point out.
Cool. Have you competed in any of those?
I have not.
How about
No.
CrossFit games? Have you?
Oh, no, certainly not. Those are some elite level
Okay. But
athletes.
aren't there like local CrossFit competitions?
Yeah, there
Okay.
are, which is really fun, especially for a former athlete. He played basketball in
Mm-hmm.
college and a little bit overseas. So that kind of is a cool way to keep the competitive spirit that still lives in me
Yeah.
going, but less so now. Now my competitiveness is more how many people I can help to
Very
be
cool.
healthy and, yeah, enjoy exercise.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit like Sweat Lab versus a typical CrossFit gym. Where do you differ and versus there versus maybe like, the Alaska Club strength and fitness classes? And why have you chosen that? Like the way you train people?
Great question, because a lot of times people do confuse us with CrossFit,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because we have a big high intensity component to some, not all, of our workouts. And it is varied, it is functional. So unlike when you go into an Alaska Club or a Planet Fitness, a place like that, you're not going to see any machines in our gym. You're going to see
Okay.
free weights and pull-up bars. So we do gymnastics. That's something that CrossFit does. We teach people how to.
Kind of cartwheels, front
Oh
flips.
my gosh, great question.
Yeah. I was like,
Cartwheels only for the kids
okay.
classes, but now you got
Yeah.
me thinking I should perhaps
Mhm.
include these for our adults. It's
Yeah.
kind of shocking how
Walking on
little the kids
hands.
can.
Yeah.
Yes, handstand walks.
Okay.
We do handstand walks. We do wall walks, which I'm sure there's some listeners out there like, why do I need to do that?
Right.
One of our members refers to the gym as an adult playground,
Hmm.
and that would be one of my arguments as to why we do these things. It's to have fun, and you never know when you're going to be upside down and needing to press your own body weight. God forbid a
Right.
car
That
accident,
makes
something like that. You never know. Life throws us many curveballs, and that's what the gym prepares us for, is to be ready for anything.
Yeah. So how's it different than a typical CrossFit gym?
Less high volume reps.
Okay.
So really, really paying attention to where the risk to reward as far
Hmm.
as volume and injury
Right.
collide. And we really try to stay below that. Another thing that CrossFit does a lot is lift really heavy loads under fatigue.
Right.
And for some athletes, that's totally fine. Think about the CrossFit Games athletes, they're trained for that. But
Hmm.
the average person, 99% of the people that I work with, including myself, we don't need to be doing that. The
Right.
risk just goes up for injury. So a lot less of that type of,
Oh.
yeah. So we do our own programming in house. And the other side of my background is the NSCA, National Strength and Conditioning Association.
Mm.
So I kind of incorporate the two styles into what I hope to be the best for our community.
And what is the NSCA style? Is just like heavier or?
Yeah, they miss, in my opinion, both CrossFit and the NSCA. They have their own specialties. So the
Hmm.
NSCA is going to be a lot more strength training based, old school almost.
Kind of what you do in the weight room if you played football in high school.
Yeah, sets
Okay.
and reps. They are a lot more sports performance based, which is great. We incorporate a lot of that into our youth
Hmm.
classes. They're just missing some of the more, I would say that CrossFit kind of broke a barrier of, like, these rope climbs and
Yeah.
bar muscle ups and all these things that you look at people doing, and you're like, "Whoa, that's crazy."
Right.
But now they've normalized it,
Hmm.
and now somebody like me who is 5'10" and 180 pounds, not a gymnastic build at
Yeah.
all, and I love joking about that at the gym, but now I'm, like, seeing these people doing these things, and now I wanna do it.
Yeah.
Now I can do it. So that they introduced that style, and it makes training really fun, in my opinion.
Yes. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, we don't do a lot of gymnastics yet in our gym here. I'll have to ask about that.
Yeah. Well, I would consider maybe, a pull-up
Oh,
potentially.
okay.
Yeah, a kipping pull-up. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
do any kipping movements or anything
We
like that, but
haven't.
yeah, something
They make
something
pull-ups easier. I like I like hips. I
some
was like, I've done them in
somersaults.
the past. Somersaults. Yeah. Very cool. So in terms of like heavy lifting and how much like should women be lifting heavy? Should they be lifting moderate? What's optimal versus like what is kind of good enough for somebody who's, listening and is like, yeah, I'd like to start that. I'm not quite ready yet, or I'm lifting, but what would be the very best for me?
Yeah, I do think that lifting heavier weights is extremely important, especially for women when it comes to bone health in
Mm-hmm.
particular and joint health, being able to move through full range of motion. That helps your mobility over time. And that's just important for quality of life generally. So you asked what is optimal.
Yeah.
What is optimal is being able to lift your body weight.
Yeah.
So I said I was 180 pounds. I should be able to do a 180-pound back squat.
Okay.
I I shouldn't be able to necessarily bench press 180
Yeah.
pounds. Women usually have weaker upper bodies compared to
Mm-hmm.
men, so we need to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But I should also be able to bench press a heavy weight.
Right.
I should be able to do a pull up, so I'm pulling my own body weight up, and that is very functional to real life.
Right. If you have to run and escape and climb fences and
Yeah, or you're walking in the jungle and you fall into a pit of snakes.
yeah, but you need to get out.
If you
Okay.
pull
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
out or go
Okay.
for Alaska,
Yeah.
you're walking on the ice and it breaks. Can you pull yourself
Yeah.
out and then do that cool, like, safety scoot that do you know what I'm talking?
No. But
Oh, okay. Well, we'll take a outdoor survival class
okay.
together because I need to learn about it as well,
Okay.
but
Very
yeah.
cool. Got it. And why do women typically avoid heavy lifting? What is it about it that frightens us or detours us?
I would say there's a big myth when it comes to lifting weights and bulking up,
Yeah.
and
And why is it a myth?
no, to be honest with you, I think a lot of myths originate from crazy or not crazy research, but research that one study comes out
Yeah.
and then something
I mean, is it maybe also like so much of our research is based on males and males do bulk up more easily. And so we just like generalize like we do with so many of like medical studies that women would bulk up.
That's a
But
really good point. Yeah. I would be really interested to learn more of the whys and why these for a woman's body to bulk, she's being intentional about that.
right.
We think about a bodybuilder, we think about some of the CrossFit Games
Hmm.
athletes that you see. They are bulky on purpose
Yeah.
because of their training
Yeah.
volume, yeah, what they're eating.
Right.
They need to have muscle mass to compete in their sport. But for the average woman like you and I
Yeah.
and the listeners, that's not gonna happen.
Right. I was going to say it's actually very hard, just like hormonally, for women to bulk up and becomes harder and harder as you age. By the time you're in your 40s and 50s, like you got to work hard to add some muscle mass. You can absolutely get stronger, but for like your muscles to get bigger, it takes, yeah, very much intentionality too. And I feel like, right, bodybuilders and some of them can do it naturally, but often like they're supplementing with testosterone and
Yeah.
we don't have as much testosterone as males. And that's why we don't bulk up typically. And obviously like some women naturally have more testosterone than others. And there are a few women out there who could bulk up more easily than the rest of us. I had a roommate who just like, she lifted weights and she got bulky, you know. She didn't like it. And the whole time I'm like,
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. Man, I'm trying hard.
That's well said, Laura. Very good point about the hormonal influence and all of that.
So,
Definitely.
yeah. So chances are if that's what your, reasoning is, excuses are, it's not a good excuse for not lifting. So,
We want to be thinking about bulking up our
yeah.
bones, especially as you get older, that you need to be lifting weights.
Mhm.
To me, it's non-negotiable.
Right. It's hugely important. Muscle mass correlated with a longer lifespan. Bone density, absolutely. Grip strength is a big one correlated with lifespan as well. Where was this?
Well, I know for a lot of women
Yeah.
too, weight loss becomes
Right.
the front of our training focus for, especially as we get older, it's easier to put on weight.
Right.
Um, and the amount of muscle mass we have influences our metabolic rate.
Hmm.
So we want to look at muscle mass, not bulky is the extreme, but
Right.
your muscles are a big influencer on all the things that you're probably wanting from a health and fitness standpoint. So it's your friend.
Right. Yeah. You
It's-
burn more calories. If you have more muscle, you just like you have a higher metabolic activity, you burn more calories. You can eat more burgers,
Yeah,
sweet potato fries,
it's
like
summer.
the good
We're gonna
stuff.
be out doing
So
and enjoying.
yeah. What one exercise do you think that you wish women would be able to do? What is like one of those just like super functional or favorite exercises that women ought to do?
Well, that's a hard question because I would say everything.
Yeah.
That's the easiest answer
I
is
want to hear about the clean and jerk. Why is the clean and jerk so important? First off, tell everybody like what a clean and jerk is.
okay.
And because it's a more of a complex lift, but
Yes.
why you like complex lifts and
Yes.
the explosion, like explosive, power of them.
Yeah, so a clean and jerk, for those of us listening who don't know what that is, you have a barbell. The barbell is you take it from the floor into the front rack position, and then you lift it overhead. So it builds explosive power for your lower body.
And you end up in a squat with it over your head, right? At the end?
No, that
Nope.
would be this.
That's the snatch.
Yeah,
Okay.
so clean
I
and jerk.
fail on this. Yep.
No,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
because I mean, I'm sure a lot of
Yeah.
people are thinking about that. So if you're able to, you're not doing
Okay.
laundry right now, you're able to YouTube this. If you're really interested in it, the clean and jerk is a clean focuses more on your hamstrings, glutes, all of
Hmm.
these things focus on the core.
Yeah.
And then the jerk is just getting into an overhead position.
Okay.
And so this whole movement is extremely complex. And so that builds our neural pathways in our
Hmm.
body. It helps us with any complex movement. So if you are a recreational softball player, or I'm just thinking of adults specifically, for
Yeah.
obviously the youth athletes or anybody competing in sport, it helps with all sport specific movements
Hmm.
because those are complex movements and skills. And so it's training our central nervous system to be able to adapt better to those types of demands. So the clean and jerk, upper body power, lower body power, power is something that we lose the most
Yeah.
as we
What is
age.
power
Power
versus
is,
strength?
yeah, good question. So strength is your ability to lift something absolute. So what I can do maximally, my how much can weight can I lift from the floor?
Okay.
Power is how much weight can I lift from the floor quickly. So
Okay.
we're adding a time component in there. So for the clean and jerk, it's you're lifting something from the floor, and the stronger you are, the more powerful you are, the faster that weight is going to move. Same thing with the jerk. So, yeah, it's power and the training of your central nervous system.
And this is where we talked about before that, like maybe powerlifting isn't aptly named because powerlifting, you're not necessarily moving it fast. You're not doing those.
Confused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
powerlifting is the slow, heavy
right.
movements. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. That was one of the things I was going to go back to with the women, and they're worried about injury. And so let's talk about like
Yeah.
clean and jerk, potential for injury, and other exercises, potential for injury. How do you go about, taking that out as a excuse not to lift weights? Because people are like, oh, I don't want to hurt myself. And right, we don't want you guys to get hurt too, but we want you to lift weights.
Yes. Disclaimer, if you are learning something for the first time, it's always beneficial to go to somebody who knows what they're doing,
Hmm.
knows what they're talking about, can have eyes on you, especially for these Olympic movements that we're talking about. I've been doing them for years, and I still love when our coaches at the gym
Right.
coach me. I appreciate that, and for somebody just starting out, there are so many things that you can mess up. And if we're talking about lifting a weight from the floor specifically, better named a deadlift
Right.
or the clean, it starts in a deadlift. If you do those things wrong, you can put your back in a really compromised position. So if you want to learn these things, which you should, go to a professional, go to a coach, go to a gym.
Yeah. I would agree. And it's one of those things like I get and I've worked out on my own before, but I think there's so much value to going to, maybe maybe a personal trainer to get started if you're new, but like group classes, because if you go to ones with high level of coaching, like that's what we want, where somebody's like, it's not a huge group class, not somebody where with 20 to 40 people, but like small group classes where the trainer can watch you, but also you have that like gym community around you, which keeps you exercising,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think that's such an important part, right? Like, people love the community at your gym. They love your dog, Kilo, right?
Oh,
Like,
thanks for bringing it up.
yeah.
No, you're so sweet. Yeah, no, that's absolutely right, Laura. If you find an environment where you're set up for success, the people there love you, love to see you, then you're going to do well and you're
Hmm.
going to enjoy going to do like working out is
Right.
hard. What we're asking you to do, these high intensity workouts or these longer slogs of workouts, those are hard. So if I'm doing it with people who are slowly becoming like my second family,
Right.
and there's a concept called the third place. So you
Hmm.
have your first place home, second place work or school, and then your third place is that place that you go for yourself that is not those other 2
Hmm.
things.
Your book club or your gym. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the mental and emotional, social health, all of these components play a big factor in overall health in general and being consistent. It's
Yeah.
hard for people to be consistent and to show up for themselves and be accountable. That's totally normal. We all struggle with those things. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter how long you've been working out or how short. So if you are thinking about getting started or really, been struggling with that, you're not alone. We all deal with
Hmm.
that. So if you find people who are encouraging, and I will say CrossFit, this is kind of a tangent a little bit.
Yeah.
CrossFit has gotten a bad rep because people do get hurt. And
Yes. Yeah.
so that being said, you want to find a place where if you are going to be coached, those coaches know what they're doing and they
Hmm.
have your best interest at heart. That's a big thing that I talk about with my coaching staff, and it is important for my own philosophy, and I'm sure it's the same with
Yeah.
you, is that we want this person to succeed.
Hmm.
And
And
there's
succeed long term, right? We're not just
yes,
trying to like see how much you can lift today. It's like, how much can
totally.
you keep lifting?
Yeah. I mean, what we do at the end of the day, it is a business and we have to make money. But I do think a lot of times in any industry, the money part gets put in the front. And
Hmm.
so for us, we want to do good. We want to do the best that we can for our people and then hope the money follows. We
Right.
have to keep the lights on. We have all these bills to pay. We have to pay
Hmm.
ourselves. But the most important thing is that we're making an impact and
Yeah.
actually helping people change their lives. So finding that community for if no matter where you're at, if you're just starting back up, you had a little break, you're coming off an injury, anything like that, find the people who can help you and who you look forward to seeing, and it is going to work out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's fun here at our gym because, like, it's small enough we know everybody's names. It's like, hey, great to see you. And then, like, our trainers are really good at, like, oh, so when are you coming back? Like,
Yes.
and we get our, our clients to come, oh, I'll be there Friday. What class are you coming to on Friday? And like, I don't know if it's a sneaky trick, but it gets them to commit to coming back.
Yeah.
And like, that's not just for business, like that's for your accountability. Just like you saying that you're going to come again on Friday increases your likelihood to come on Friday. And like both Alyssa and I, like our gyms are not there to collect memberships and not have members show up. Like we want our members to show up. We want them to get stronger. Like we built small gyms like this on purpose so that people
Absolutely.
come and are not paying for not coming. If you haven't come to ours for a while, like we will call you and be like, hey, we haven't seen you. Do we need to pause your membership? Like we're not trying to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. That's how we operate too for the business side, and I cannot say that for all the quote unquote Globo gyms. I
Right.
know that that's
Well, yeah,
they
some of them, their business model just wouldn't work
exactly. They have the ghost
otherwise.
membership where it's just a recurring payment,
Right.
and we don't care if we see you or not.
Yeah. And if it's low enough and it's one of those things where like if you're really low, like Planet Fitness, $10 a month, like it's not a big deal to you financially. If you don't go, if you're paying for one of our gyms, you have more of an incentive to
Mhm.
go. And it's one of those things where like one, like it's worth it, but it's worth it just for you to make yourself
Mhm.
go. I think that's an important point. What would you say? What's something that you've changed your mind about in fitness as you've been in this for quite a while?
Something that I've changed my mind about. I think I brought up well,
You brought up your injury and not
right.
wanting to lift heavy.
Yeah, so talking about those deadlifts and things like that,
Yeah.
that's something that I'm very sensitive to, and to the point where if I see something on Instagram, a coach posts something, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that person's gonna get hurt with that form."
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something, and I
Okay.
have.
That's fair. That's fair. We're out there to keep people safe. Yeah.
Yeah, but if so when I was playing competitively for basketball, I didn't have anybody to coach me on well,
On
on
lifting. Yeah.
lifting, yes, on lifting. The basketball side, yes.
Yes.
And so but I knew that I needed to get stronger because I didn't wanna get hurt. Nobody wants to be hurt.
Right.
You're on the bench, you don't get to play. So I started doing it on my own, and I thought I was doing things the right way. I was overseas, bored,
Yeah.
because we only practiced, and that's all there was
Where
to
were
it.
you overseas playing?
Germany.
Okay. Very
Mhm,
cool.
time difference.
Yeah.
I can't call my friends and family.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay, I'll get my personal training and even during that time where I'm studying about this stuff and, like, it's in the front of my
Yeah.
mind,
You can't see yourself though,
you can't
still.
see yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'm doing everything right, but I wasn't. I did something wrong, and I messed up my back, and I didn't know what was wrong at the time. Long story short, I had a herniated disc, and most people walking around, they get something around 80%.
A lot of people have herniated disc, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And
really
sometimes
does.
it doesn't hurt and sometimes it does. It's one of those things where like your MRI doesn't correlate well with your pain level. But you can have them and they can be terrible as well. We've seen grown men crying like with the herniated disc, so it depends.
Yeah, well, I was a
Yeah.
grown woman
Okay.
crying,
Yep.
laying on the ground, not able to get up, one of the most humbling experiences in my life, and that was every morning
Hmm.
until it healed,
Yeah.
and that I just thought at the time I was never gonna be able to lift again,
Yeah.
and
Were you still playing basketball?
no,
Or
but
did you?
my
Okay.
job is very physical,
Yeah.
so to go out and teach people how to
Right.
play, there I'm doing stuff with them,
Yeah.
and so I was really concerned for that piece as well, and so I thought, you know what? I never have to lift heavy again. I don't need to lift heavy. That's fine." But now I have completely changed my mind because if I'm not lifting, then my back feels awful.
Right.
And I'm not even talking about just you are very good at what you do, and I know you're probably prescribing people core training
Yes.
and
Oh, yeah. That's like,
posterior
it's
chain.
the most important for preventing and posture. Posture matters too. Like,
Little
yeah.
straighter. Yep.
Because that is most disc injuries, like they don't happen because of an acute incident. It is long-term posture and then it's an acute incident laid on top of that. And sometimes it's a deadlift and often it's like picking up a piece of paper, but you've just like frayed those fibers so much that they're ready to go. So yeah, core strengthening. And then I do. Yeah. I'm the posture police. So yeah, when I had Kylie on here and she's like, she's a dietitian and you can go back and listen to her episode. And she said she's not a food police. And I said, well, I am a posture police. So
We have to.
Yeah, somebody has to police everybody on
Yes.
that because nobody's grandma is doing it anymore. So I'm here to do it.
That's
Nobody's
awesome.
parents are doing it because the parents are here.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, we're all for it on our screens
yeah.
and totally. So, well, long story short, what I changed my mind on is that I can lift heavy. I want to lift heavy.
Hmm.
It's still possible and it's actually important.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. What would you say is overrated in the fitness world right now that you are just not a big fan of?
There's a lot of trendy things, but I think the most overrated thing is people's excuses.
Okay.
And we all have excuses. I get it. You're short on time. The
Hmm.
gym is expensive. You don't have money for that.
Hmm.
And you're lying to yourself.
Yeah. I was gonna say, but you're on Instagram and you're going out to eat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if your health isn't a priority, then with full, like, I'm opening myself up here for some criticism, but if your health isn't a priority, I feel bad for you because it's the most important thing.
Hmm.
If you're not taking care of yourself, how can you expect to take care of anybody else? How can you expect to have the most full life that you deserve?
Hmm.
And you do deserve that. We all deserve to have full, healthy lives and feel good,
Right.
not wake up in the morning and just be like groaning as you roll out of bed and dread the day. That's not,
Right.
we deserve to live our one short life.
Right.
And you do have enough money. Even if you're struggling for money, you do have enough money for yourself. You do have enough time. Literally, put the phone down.
Mm.
Get that 30 minutes.
You
You're
can,
scrolling.
yeah, you can listen to this podcast at the gym. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. If you're not at the gym now, you can go there and continue listening.
Yeah, that's what I would say is the most overrated thing is people getting in their own way.
Hmm. And I would say, like, right, you deserve like that. And your partner, they want you around for however many years. Your kids want you around for however, at least I want my mom around for as many years as we can, keep her around. And I'm kind of an old mom. And so I got to stay in shape for my kids too,
You are
because,
not an old mom.
well, I mean, I was 36 and 38 when I had my kids. So I'm not
Oh,
the
I
not the
see. I see
oldest.
what you're
Like that's what I
saying.
mean. Like
Okay.
my kids are young compared to like I didn't have them in my 20s
Fair.
or even early 30s. So
So
like
you're not old, Laura.
yeah, I'm not
Wow.
but right, it's like I'm gonna be older when my kids graduate from high school, when my kids get married, and like I want them to have a mom who's able to do all of this stuff, who isn't like, no, I'm too old for that. I want to be the mom, like, also trying to do the monkey bars with them, which I'm kind of mediocre at. I have a surgery on the shoulder. It doesn't work super well on monkey bars. Some days it does, and some days it pinches. But I'm working on my gymnastics. You guys have monkey bars on there?
No, I wish we
No,
did.
I know. I wish we had monkey bars too. I guess
Yeah.
they're all outside. So outside can be your playground as well. Anything else that let's talk a little bit about, like, in terms of exercise, consistency versus intensity versus exercise selection. We talked about this last time. I'd love to recap. What's most important?
Great question, Laura. I think they're all extremely important.
Okay. And tell us why.
Well,
Consistency.
yeah,
Yeah.
consistency gets a lot of attention as it deserves. If you're doing small things over time, those are going to stack up
Hmm.
into a big deal.
Right. If you lift weights now and then, you're really going to get no results, right? Once every 2 or 3 weeks, even if you lift hard, it's not going to get you very far.
Yeah, and that's where the intensity comes in
Hmm.
and gets a bad rap.
Hmm.
Because if you're focusing on when I go to the gym, it needs to be intense. I need to be dying.
Yeah.
I need to feel, like I really made the most of that time. Then you're probably going to burn yourself out
Right.
and then be inconsistent because it's not fun.
Right.
So, intensity is very important because of the way it stimulates a bunch of different things in our bodies, from hormones to BDNF, the things that happen in your brain.
Yeah. Brain derived neurotropic factor. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which there's some cool podcasts out on that specifically.
Yeah.
But the way that our body adapts and responds to intensity is really, really important. Is an intense workout fun to do? No.
No. Yeah.
No, I dread that
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
but it's really beneficial for the body. Exercise selection, doing functional things because that's what's going to help us in our life is really important. Doing the static old bodybuilding bicep
Yeah.
curls. There are a lot of
Or
very strong looking bodybuilders out there who wouldn't be very functional if we gave them
they
some
might
sort of
not do the
oxygen.
monkey bars or yeah.
Yeah, like if you give them a basic military test, maybe I'm not sure how well they would do because usually they're immobile,
Yeah.
not great cardiovascular endurance. So fitness as a whole requires us to be balancing a lot of these different things. So when it comes to exercise selection, it's the same idea. It needs to be varied, it needs to be functional, it needs to be something where you're getting full range of motion, unless you have an injury.
Mhm.
You're working around something. That's a completely different story. Then the machines have their
I was gonna
place.
ask, what's the place of machines? What are their kind of
I
good things versus bad things, right? I
literally think just for bodybuilding
yeah.
and if you're needing something to help with rehab.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't see I think they take up a lot of
They
space
take yeah.
and are
They're less likely for people, I think, get injured on as well as probably why people they got diagrams of how to do them and you're not that likely to get injured, but you're limiting your potential. Yeah.
that's a great way to put it. Yeah, you really are living
In terms of intense workouts, how many times a week do we need to hit this high intensity? Optimal versus, kind of like good enough?
really good question. It depends where you're at in your
Yeah.
cliche fitness
Fitness,
journey.
right? And probably also like where you're at, like life wise. Like
Mhm.
prior to kids, I could do them more often. And then, like, when I'm, newborns breastfeeding, like my body didn't have that like higher gear as often.
Yeah.
So, probably where your adrenals are, I would
Yeah.
say makes the
That's
difference as well, right?
that's a great point.
If you're
Yes.
like burned out your adrenals, then you probably have less capacity for it.
Yeah,
But
life is stressful. I mean, I can't imagine being a parent.
it's a little bit of work. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
absolutely. They're
gosh, so
great, but
much
it's a little bit of work.
yeah.
But yeah, I would say like optimal and let's say you're in good health. How
Mhm.
how often would you do the kind of higher intensity?
3 to 4 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah. And those don't have to be long. They can be 10-ish minutes,
Right.
but that would be good to get in at that
Okay.
frequency. And I tell
So it
people
doesn't have to be an hour of Tabatas
no,
and
no,
imams
that's
and
unrealistic,
okay.
certainly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to put perspective for people listening who are wondering, like, what an hour at our gym looks
Yeah.
like. It's literally 10-ish minutes of 5 to 10 minutes of mobility, sometimes longer.
Very cool.
And then we go into a very specific warm up to get our bodies completely primed and ready to go.
Hmm.
And that's around 15 minutes. And then we usually have a strength component. We're going to do that for about another 15 minutes. So that remaining time is 10 to 20 minutes. That's going to be the conditioning.
Okay.
Unless it's an intentionally longer endurance day, we'll skip the strength, shorten the warm up because for a longer endurance workout, you typically don't need the same level of warm up, and we'll do about 30 to
Okay.
yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So it's not yeah. When we talk about high intensity 3 times a week, it's not 3 1-hour sessions of just like dripping in sweat and
No.
lying on the floor and
Yeah, it's
okay.
important to think about heart rate zones too, that we're the intense workouts are gonna be zone 4, zone 5. You can
Hmm.
only sustain those types of zones for a certain amount of time. So if you had I tell members at the gym all the time when we're approaching those kinds of workout and they're feeling like how you were describing earlier,
Right.
tired and stressed and the day's
Yeah.
been long, it's been a long week. That is totally fine. If you have 50% to give today, give all 50. If you have 20%, give all 20%, but don't not show up.
Right.
Yeah, and if the workout looks intimidating, great. Come anyways, because now what are you working on? You're working on your discipline, your
Hmm.
accountability to yourself, all of these really healthy mental things.
Yeah. How about recovery? Let's talk a little bit about that, right? We do these high intensity, you said 3 to 4 times a week. Why do we need to space out our workouts? And what is recovery? What does good recovery look like?
Recovery should be first and foremost, we're talking about sleep as
Hmm.
the most important part of recovery, in my opinion, because that's when your body does all of its healing.
Right.
When we work out, we literally our muscles, so our body does most of the repair during sleep. So on those heavier and more intense days, more intense or long training days, you're going to want to make sure you're getting enough sleep. 8 hours.
Yeah.
How much sleep do you get, Laura?
No, I try to get 8 hours. I think I could use 8.5.
Yeah.
And I think I usually get 7.5.
Nice.
Except for the months when, like, my son, the last month where he's been coming into our room every night. So
Yeah.
then it's interrupted sleep. But
Right.
I think I do pretty well because I prioritize sleep very hardcore.
That's awesome.
So
Well, you want to be at your best.
yes.
Mentally,
Yep, exactly.
So yeah, you're doing that not only for your family and yourself, but I'm sure you're wanting that sleep for
Yeah.
your clients and
Yeah.
all of
I need to have my brain, going for my clients.
Yes.
And also I'm grouchy if I don't sleep well.
Oh, me too.
So yeah, everyone in my family wants me to, I don't know if my kids care, but like my husband will notice, like, I think you need more sleep. I'm like, I do.
Are you a nap
Yes,
person?
I do. I like to nap. I just don't have a lot of opportunity to nap.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
I would, like to nap more. I would say, I'm mediocre good at it. I would say 50% of the time when I lay down for a nap, I sleep. And that's just because the other time I probably had too much caffeine and I can't like sleep well.
The
And
liquid nap.
yeah, and so, right, then when we're talking about the optimal versus ideal, that was one of the things that I was thinking. Optimal and ideal, I guess, are the same. Optimal versus like good enough, right? Like, is my caffeine consumption right now optimal? No, but it's not like bad. It's kind of like it's good enough. I have a little bit too much. And so it depends where you're at in terms of lifting caffeine. I think that we can all figure out areas where we're like, just going for good enough for now versus like, and we're going to get to optimal. Like, I'd like to get my caffeine. I'm very like highly responsive to caffeine. So I probably only need like 80 milligrams of caffeine max a day. I feel caffeine quickly. Yeah. And I probably have 150. So it's not a lot, but it's more than my body needs. So
150 and I'm ready
you're
for
like,
a nap.
okay. Yeah. Tyler can like sleep through caffeine. So awesome. I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. How do people find you? Find the Sweat Lab in person, on social media, website? What do we?
In person, we're right between Turnigan Brewing and Mr. Prime Beef. If you
Cool.
live in Anchorage, I'd like to use those as points of reference. So 300 East 76th Avenue. Website is makeyourselfak.com, and that works for the Sweat Lab or the basketball player development. And then social media.
Yeah, Instagram. Their Instagram is great. So
Thank you.
yes.
On there.
Yeah, Esther's doing a great job putting it together. Yeah.
To be funny, sometimes it doesn't work out, but your guys' funny reels get a lot of.
Tyler's do. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have any funny reels out there?
I don't know. I'm not very funny.
I'm gonna go.
I don't know if I've done funny ones.
Me and the listeners are gonna go.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. I'll work on it.
Yeah. Our Instagram is at the Sweat Lab AK.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to On the Ascent Health. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you found it helpful, share it with a friend and leave us a review. It helps more people discover the show. The views and opinions shared by guests on this podcast do not necessarily reflect my own or that of Ascent Health and Performance. The information provided is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice. Next time on the Ascent Health, we're diving into a vastly different but also hugely important topic for women, breast health. I'm talking with Sherry Higbee of Advanced Thermal Imaging of Alaska. We discuss breast thermography, that's the thermal imaging of your breasts, which may give us earlier clues on breast health, dense breast tissue, estrogen dominance, and the difference between detecting breast cancer and working to prevent it. If you've ever wondered if there's more out there than mammograms, yes, there is, and we're going to talk about it.